Conditional statements for Python and finance. Conditional statements let your program make decisions. They run different blocks of code depending on whether a condition is true or false. So Python evaluates these expressions that will result in a Boolean value. So here we have our basic structure. So if the if condition is true, the code will run. But if it's false, Python skips it like your gym partner on leg day. Now we'll start with if statements. We have a stock price and we want it to trigger an alert when the price moves above 200. So what's happening here is that Python will check our stock price variable and see if it's greater than 200. And since this condition is true, the message will print, but if it were false, nothing would happen. Now, just using if by itself is limited because we want to set up a system where the program can check multiple conditions and display results based on what the current condition is. This is where the else statements comes in. Else statements can act as like a fallback to the if statement. So in our example below, our program will always produce some sort of outcome. All right, now we can throw in else if statements, elifs. With elif statements, we can use it to check multiple conditions, like for example, reacting to volatility using the VIX index. So in our example here, what's happening is that Python will begin checking our condition from a top-down approach. If the first condition is true, it will execute the first block of code. Now, suppose the first condition isn't true, but the second is, Python will execute the second block of code and ignore the rest. Then, if both conditions are false, our else statement will execute. We can also use logical operators with our conditional statements, and we can combine conditions using these logical operators such as and, or, and not operators. So, for example, we have a trade entry rule. We're basically saying that if our price is greater than 100 and the volume is greater than 1 million, we'll have our trade signal. Else, we won't have a trade set up. So an important note is that both of these conditions must be true for that trade signal to be printed. Nested conditionals are another thing that we can do as well. You may be asking yourself, what is a nested conditional? Nested conditionals is simply a if statement inside of another if statement. So a great way of remembering what they are is thinking of a Russian nesting egg, where there's an egg inside of another egg. The same logic here applies. It's just basically a conditional statement inside of another conditional statement. So in our example below, we can just see that we have the outer condition and then we have our inner conditions. And that is conditional statements for Python for finance, and I'll see you guys in the next one.